Hey, Steven in Eads, Tennessee, just outside Memphis. See more better here with free prescription lenses right here inside the lab. And tonight I'm going to cut the invisible bifocal. I use the Essilor Ideal Advanced with Transitions Gray and Crizal Prevencia that I'll be cutting to mount into your Silhouette drill mount frame. Now you have shape 7610. I know that from experience. I've gone ahead and pulled this shape up onto the computer. It tells me the layout chart where the drill holes are, the height and the width of the holes. That has been programmed into the computer. All I need to do is go ahead and program the height of the lens. Well, I first need to start by getting the blocks. Of course, I'm going to use a double-sided adhesive sticker. This is how I attach. This will be attached to your lens while it is cutting. Go ahead and put that on the first one there. Pull the paper away. Make the second side of the double-sided sticker ready to go. Now on the back is a little magnet. It's going to hold it, do its jobs twice tonight. The first time it's going to hold it in place in the arm of the blocker. Now let's go ahead and take the right lens, put it on there to save on time tonight, because the drill mount, I call it drill mount because I'm literally drilling. I'm going to drill 8 holes, 4 per lens, to mount this into your frame, so it takes a little bit longer. So I went ahead, got the optical center marked on the lenses, pulled up the shape on the computer. So your pupillary distance of your right eye is 32. The computer starts at 32.5, so I'm gonna hit the minus button until we get to, actually on the wrong one, to 32. The OC height is at 17. I'm gonna raise that up to 22. That was the height, oops, excuse me. Let's get that back to 32, tap that button. Now we can raise this up to 22. And I have a progressive layout chart. If these were single vision lenses, which you see in a lot of the videos, I would be using that one straight line. Because this is a progressive and it has 3 dots, 1 that's higher, 2 that's on the center. I use this layout. I put that dot in the center, and these 2 line up on that one line to make sure it's in there perfectly. And it is 32, 22, 32, 22. We're looking good there. I hit this button. The arm's going to come down and place the block. Hang on, I felt it move. Let me do this again. Let's grab another one. This one's ready to go. Let's go and pull the sticker off. Line that up again. Tap that to get us back over to the right. And make sure everything lines up just perfectly. Hit that button. The arm comes down and places the block onto the right lens. We'll do the same thing now for the left lens, except the pupillary distance is 29.5. Move that over to 29.5. Same optical center height. Make sure everything is lined up in there perfectly. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Gonna line everything up and make sure it's perfect. That dot goes in the center. Those 2 dots line up perfectly and horizontal. Just double check everything. Hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what's going to do all the work tonight. It's going to work while I run my mouth, but this, let's see here. This is the actual cutting wheel, and this normally would put the bevel on there, but let's go ahead and do a little bit extra here. Let's go ahead and pull up the shape onto the computer. That is the shape and the drill holes we'll be cutting. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a few things. Do something a little different tonight. I'm going to close the door. This is the actual drill bit that will go around and drill out the holes there. And if this were semi-realist, that's the grooving wheel. This puts the safety bevel on there. We're going to go back. Now the magnet's going to do a job a second time tonight. It's going to hold it in place into the chuck. And actually, before I go, because of this, I want to put a little bit better of a sticker on there for the drill mounts, because things move around a little bit more. Let's see here. Let's put those on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it into the chuck. And these are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high index plastic, or Trivex, I would stick that. I do not want to polish the edges. I am going to put a safety bevel on the front surface of the lens and a slightly heavier one on the rear surface. Hit the green start button. The door closes, the clamp shuts. The lens is going to go around and be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's tracing out the shape. and of course is measuring the thickness of the lens. And then one extra step you don't see, it's going to start tapping where the drill hole goes to measure the thickness of the lens, to make sure the lens is thick enough to be held in place. So the lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel. Now if you see water spraying in the background, that's there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any optical debris. So you see beginning to form on the edges of the lens. So let's go ahead and grab these, put my little trash over there. Slide this out. Here are the tools I'll be needing tonight. Get everything ready, stuff you normally don't see. The pliers to put together, these are the bushings we'll need. I'm going to go ahead and use this to remove the bushings. When I say bushing, this is a bushing. This is what's going to go into your lens eventually. It has been trimmed down to hold that in there. So I'm going to cut the back of it off, this part, on all sides. Go ahead and trim that. Make sure this is in focus. I'm not seeing what you guys are seeing. Trim all that off. If these were brand new lenses and I was having to remount, I would take a little bit more care. But since these are very old lenses he doesn't use anymore, I can do this a little bit quicker. We put that on there so it doesn't spill. Remove that. My favorite optical tool, the thumbtack. I'm going to use that to poke out the old temples. There we go. And so I don't get confused, I'm going to mark these to know these are the old lenses. So you used to have a little bit of bushing left on there, so I'm going to trim that. And then just drop them on the floor. Love making a mess. Kids, remember I went to school for years to learn how to do this. So if you want to grow up and make a mess, kids, you gotta stay in school. See that? Just trim that off. So go ahead and drop that on the floor. That is good. Let's do the same thing now on that temple. Trim that piece. Plus the nice thing about dropping stuff on the floor, it makes it look like you've been working. When people come over, you can fool people that way. Now the bridge. A day in the life of a bench optician. Most places charge you extra for the drilling fees, but because it's built into my machine, I do not. It is more time consuming, takes me longer, but a guy I trained with early on used to tell me, just take care of people and money will take care of itself. Don't charge people extra for doing certain things. People have an instinctual knowledge, know when they're getting ripped off. Just take care of them and they'll keep coming back. So again, these are some of the pieces that have been trimmed off. Drop that in the floor. I'll be by to clean that up in a couple years. So let's see where we're at. So it actually is drilling holes in the lenses now. Oop, hang on. Drilling in. See it starting to come through the right side of the lens. Once the right side, it wiggles it around just enough to make it the right diameter, 1.4 millimeters. It's a 1 millimeter drill bit, so it wiggles it around about until it's 1.4 millimeters. So it is done. First one is done. Let's go ahead and open this up. Hit that button. I'm going to dry everything off. I don't need two pieces. Let's conserve. Dry everything off, and we can actually go ahead and start cutting the left lens. Flip that over to L. Press that on there tight. hit the green start button. Just like before, the door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced again. Making sure it's large enough to fit and going around tracing out the shape. And then it's going to put the dots on there. 1 dot, 2 dots. In fact, is it adding it? Yep, you can see. Now it's doing the 3rd one, and now the 4th one, measuring the thickness. And now the cutting wheel is going to start back up, move into place. And as the left lens begins to cut, I will keep working on the right lens. So I can go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Use my thumbnail to remove all the optical sawdust off of the lens. Use my thumbnail to go around. Can you see that coming out? I love when it comes off in these big pieces. So go all the way around. And once it's all the way off the lens, I carefully collect it neatly into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. Because that never gets old. Okay, so I need 2 bushings per lens. 1, 2. Now I get 100 of these per month free from Silhouette. After that, another pack of 100 is $35. Can you believe that? But because I'm one of their top accounts, in fact I'm the top account in the state of North Carolina, I don't do a lot of these videos because it is too time consuming. Not too, but very time consuming. So now that there's the holes, this is going to slide right in there just like that. Let's do the same thing for the other side. Push it through from the back side to the front. Now I use this little cigar cutter. Slide that in there. It fits up flush against the lens. I snip, give it a tap. Of course, I use my favorite optical tool, push that out. I'm not done with that thumbtack. I put those 2 bushings into those 2 holes. When it's flush, I pinch, cuts those off, give it a tap to get those to fall out again. Poke through, wipe those onto the floor. Now, because even though this cutter is very sharp, it still crimps these down just a little bit, so I use my favorite optical tool and I wiggle that out to make it easier to press the metal prongs into there. So let's wiggle that, wiggle that. Now I'm going to take the bridge. I always start with the bridge. Some people like to start on the ends. I start with the bridge. Those 2 metal prongs are going to go into the lens right there. I push, rotate it around. Now here's a unique optical tool. Essentially it's pliers, but because the lenses are convex and they move, it actually has a little pivoting point. Hopefully you can see all this. So it can move with the lens. I give it a little squeeze, it goes in and it crimps it on there very tightly. Now if you notice, there are no screws whatsoever in your frames. These are compression fittings. This is a compression bushing. No screws to ever come loose. Now let's make sure this is the right one. That would be upside down. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the right temple. It has the 2 metal bushings. I'm going to push into that hole. Give this a squeeze, double check that's right. That is right. Not just the right temple, but correct in its orientation. Give that a squeeze, and that is in there good. Now normally I would line this up and read the prescription off of there, but with one lens this can rock back and forth. I do not have any stability, but I do want to go ahead. Sometimes the sticker pulls off that dot. I'm going to put one on this side just to make sure that is there, so I can measure the PD and the OC height. Let's see where we're at. Drilling some holes once again, going around, starting to come through on the right side of the lens from the left to the right, drilling out a 1 millimeter hole, and once it's through it wiggles it just enough to make it another 0.4 diameter of the millimeter. This lens is almost done. Let's go ahead and take the left lens out. Hit the button to open up the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Charles, Chucky baby. Go ahead and remove this block. Oh, I love when it comes. Look at that Schwarf. Look at that. When it comes off in one piece like that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, still didn't fall on the floor. There we go. Get on the floor. Get on the floor. Scrape all that off. Drop. Whoops, I got a case of the dropsies. So that is good. Let's go ahead and put these bushings in. 2 more of these. Slide that through the 2 holes. Get in there, play nice, play nice. There we go. When it gets firm, it means I got to change the drill bit. This tells me the mileage on the drill bit, and when it starts blinking red, it's time to change it. Of course, you can tell that old Bob Dylan line, you don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind is blowing. When it gets harder and harder to push those sleeves through, you know it's time to change out the bits. And these bits are about $50 a piece. I might be able to do 40 pairs of silhouettes, maybe, I doubt that. Poke that through to make sure they're done. I'm done with that tool. I can throw it in there. Ream out those holes with my favorite optical tool. Now, it doesn't have to be yellow. It can be any color, but as long as it's good and sharp. Here's the other thing. Now, this is the memory metal titanium made by Silhouette, made in Austria. There's no better pair of glasses when you consider lightweight and comfort. 1.5 grams. Again, no screws to ever come loose. These are the only glasses approved by NASA to be allowed in space because there's nothing lighter. Plus, if you bump your head in zero gravity, there's no opticians like me, although I would love to volunteer to go up there and adjust someone's glasses. But, where was I at? Oh, nope, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Where am I at? Okay, I lost my train of thought. See, I'm working. I'm just rambling. Let me go ahead and put this one together. But it is engineered very well, so they actually came up with this because they needed a pair of glasses they can use in space. And nothing works better. I used to joke and say until they come up with 20-year-old astronauts, they all wear silhouettes. And you have to train for 30 years or so before you can actually go up with NASA, so that's why all astronauts wear silhouette glasses. Doubt any of them are in contacts just because of the dry environment. And contacts are a luxury, glasses are a necessity. Every person who wears, put that tool away now, put that tool away and that tool. To show you how well used it is, look at all those holes that I have right there from keep poking that in and out. So, let's come down here. Before I pull those stickers off, I want to go ahead and put another dot right there on that side, because sometimes that will come off when I remove the sticker. And it did. You can see the dot on the blue sticker there. Now, if you missed any of that, let me recap. You know you're not getting away with a bad joke. Free bad joke with every pair of glasses sold. So, we're going to put it in just above those dots, and this is actually rare. Your prescription plus 1 1/4 minus 1 at 80, plus 150 minus 50 at 80. You have the same axis on both eyes. That is extremely rare. These first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This number could be anywhere from 1 to 180. So it's actually rare. Out of 180 possible combinations for the axis rotation, you're the same on both eyes. So we're going to spin that axis wheel to 80. We're going to put it in above this dot, and we're hopefully going to get plus 1 1/4. Check the power up, plus. I got to spin it the other way. There we go. And we are getting, where's my, oh, sorry, hope that wasn't too loud. We're getting plus 1 1/4, 1 tick mark above 1. So the unit of measurement used in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4. You are farsighted. You need 5 steps of magnification to see up near. Now, once everything is the right size, without your glasses on, everything is much too small. So once it is magnified, it makes things bigger. That's why there's a plus. We need to take away the fuzzy edges. That's what, you have 4 steps of astigmatism correction. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So we're going to back down minus 1 from 1 1/4. Let's go ahead and check that. and we're at plus a quarter, 1 tick mark above 0. Remember high school algebra where you add unlike signs together? Yeah, let's do it. Someone had borrowed $1.25 and they paid you back $1, they would still owe you a quarter. So that's where we're at, plus 25. Let's go ahead and check the left lens. The OS, the ocular sinister, plus 150 minus 50 at 80. Check the power, plus 150, exactly halfway between 1 and 2. You have 2 steps of astigmatism correction, and we end up at plus 1. Again, if you had $1.50 and someone borrowed 50 cents, you would have $1 left, $1. So that is made perfect. I couldn't do that any better if I had done this myself. So your pupillary distance, 32 for your right eye, 29.5 for the left. So that makes 61.5. Is that right? 30 and so yeah, 62. So 61.5. I'm going to place the PD stick on the right lens. And when I hold it up, and turn this around so you can see that. When I hold it up on the left lens, we're getting 61.5. So that is cut perfectly. I want to check the optical centers. I was going to cut that at 22. And then when you look at the bottom of the lens, we're getting 22 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Same thing on this side, 22 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Now this is the point in every video as I clean the lens. I mentioned to you that when you get these in the mail, and of course free shipping anywhere in the US, but when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could be too loose or too tight. Although with these compression things, I doubt that. Plus, being your frame, it's already been pre-adjusted, but I mentioned to everyone, anytime you get a pair of glasses in the mail and they don't fit right, just stop by your local optical shop. 99% of all optical shops do free adjustments. But the lens itself, the Essilor Ideal Advanced, it is if anyone out there has vision insurance, this is a top tier lens. This is as nice as it gets, digital freeform lens from Essilor. The lens itself is $139.99. even though this is a drill mount frame. The transitions add $60. Crizal Prevencia, which is the only, as of today, the only anti-glare that reduces the harmful blue light emitted from today's electronic devices, and that adds $119.99 for a total of $319.98. So everyone out there, I know people in single vision, $320, but again, for a premium Essilor Ideal, digital freeform lens with transitions with Crizal Prevencia. Shop around, ask what that is. So this is what your lenses, a little bit of Schwarf right there, optical sawdust. This is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate them first, but of course, you're going to get one of my premium microfiber cleaning cloths. Crizal gives you a cleaning cloth. Of course, you may have one from Silhouette in your case. Oop, there's a little sawdust got inside your case. Get that. Look at that. Tried to sneak its way into your case. I can't even pick it up. There we go. Can you see that with the dark background? Let's go ahead and let that fall on the floor too. Get down there on the floor. So, I'm also going to provide you with instructions on how to care for your lenses and your case, so it too will last you for years. Not just your frame and lenses, but the cleaning cloths and the case. I also provide a selfie request. Come on, Steven, you gotta, after all this, you gotta post your selfie on the website. Send me 2 pictures, one with them clear and then one outside with them dark. But I'm going to go ahead and turn them dark for you one time now. As you can see, if I can get this in there, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to turn dark, about 45 seconds to a minute 15 when you come back inside to return back to virtually clear. Now, Stephen, this is important. All transition lenses get dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks till they reach their maximum setting. After that, they'll work for years at maximum performance. The only time they won't work is if you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays, so your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, yes. They're also temperature sensitive, meaning they will get darker when it's 85 and below than they will when it's 95 and above. But I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody works 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. This is the middle of August, about the worst time of year to get a pair of transition lenses, just because here on the southeast, it gets very hot during the day. So I like to drink coffee on the deck in the morning. My lenses will get very dark. Of course, I'm wearing my Silhouettes too. I went with the blue because I'm always wearing blue. But I also have Crizal Prevencia. You can see what it looks like with clear lenses and then with sunglass lens. It has that purplish hue. All Crizal lenses have a greenish purple hue. Crizal Prevencia, P for Prevencia, P for purple or lavender, has that because it's in the ultraviolet spectrum to block the harmful blue light emitted from today's electronic devices. For some, you know, they swear it can cause ADHD in kids, sleep disorders. The thing that concerns me the most personally is that it can also reduce the chance of getting macular degeneration, which there is no cure for. So as I keep yapping on, you can see these things lightening. In another 30 to 45 seconds, they'll be back to virtually clear. So that's that. If anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on my website, freeprescriptionlenses.com. Stephen in Eads, Texas, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut drill mount progressive lenses for your own Silhouette 7395, which has the high arching bridge. This is one of the older models. The newer Silhouettes have a flatter bridge. That way you can tell the difference. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. But that is that. Again, yours have the invisible progressive no line bifocal, which the brand I use is the Essilor Ideal Advanced with transitions gray lenses and Crizal Prevencia. And hopefully everyone got a chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. This is See More Better here with free prescription lenses, and hopefully you can see now that's Mo Better.